One day, I was watching a video on how Gangnir was able to beat Terraria without attacking. And so I wonder, would that be possible to do in Calamity? Are there any more effective or efficient ways to do so? Well, there is only one way to find out. In this video, I'll be beating the entire Terraria Calamity mod without attacking or using any weapons. Here is the general rule of thumb in this playthrough before we start. Any source of damage coming from weapons is strictly forbidden. Yes, even non-health weapons such as summoner minions or sentries are a big no-no. The only source of damage allowed in this playthrough is from things that normally shouldn't deal damage, such as armor, accessories, and potion buffs. You already know this playthrough is gonna be very interesting. What is this letter? It just got delivered. An invitation to Marvel Strike Force very first pool party? Hell yeah, I am in! Marvel Strike Force is a mobile squad RPG that allows you to battle with your favorite team of superheroes and supervillains in a fight to save the universe against dangerous threats. Your goal is to power up your favorite characters to complete missions, unlock gear and other resources, and beat other players in PvP modes. This month, Marvel Strike Force is inviting all of us to celebrate their very first pool party, featuring Deadpool, Wolverine, and lots of other characters. I'd appoint Deadpool as the DJ for his sick dubstep music, Iron Man as the life of the party due to his charisma, Spider-Man as a snack bar hero because he is great at small talks, and Wolverine as a barbecue master because the older you are, the better your barbecue is. There will be 4 weeks of events featuring 3 different difficulties. There will be tons of rewards, gear, and character shards for players to get their hands on. Celebrate the release of Marvel Studios' Deadpool and Wolverine by unlocking Deadpool and Wolverine for free using the limited time promo code. You can also unlock Deadpool's new costume, which is inspired by Marvel Studios' Deadpool and Wolverine, by playing through this month's pool party event. New characters are constantly being released. Be on the lookout for the highly anticipated new team. You don't want to miss out on their limited time character release events during this month. So what are you waiting for? Download Marvel Strike Force for free by using my link or QR code here. Thank you Marvel Strike Force for sponsoring this video. Without further ado, let's start this playthrough. Upon spawning, we must immediately go to the desert biome, as our first goal in this playthrough is obtaining the cactus armor set. It is a mild annoyance that we're not able to attack enemies, as we have to constantly dodge them. Oh hey, look at that! A pyramid! Our lucky day! We enter it to obtain a sandstorm in the bottle. A bit of overconfidence goes a long way, as entering the underground desert allows us to meet our demise. Now we chop off some trees and craft a full set of cactus armor, the first step in our progression, as this armor allows us to deal damage to enemies by getting ourselves hurt. We built some houses for NPCs to move in, and now we must collect some deathweed to be able to craft the Thorns potion. It is easier said than done as they barely grow, and there are too many obstacles blocking our way. So let's just explore the underground caves first to obtain some basic starting loot, like Hermes boots and Band of Regeneration. So much stuff we have to scrap for our pacifist run to be valid. We then proceed to harvest some glowing mushrooms, got a web slinger hook in a lucky spider biome generation, and a few life crystals. However, our main goal is located in this granite biome, the unstable energy core. This accessory periodically zaps nearby enemies with arcing energy, dealing damage to them. That is right, now we can deal damage to enemies without hurting ourselves. We crafted platinum bars and iron bars, crafted a few buckets and grabbed some lava. Our preparation is almost complete for our first boss. When I returned back to spawn, it was a blood moon. Luckily, I already have some NPCs move into their respective houses, so I just let them take care of the enemies. I went to the desert biome again to farm some Snidrion to get the Amidia Spark. We have to be extra careful and allow ourselves to be directly hit in contact with Snidrion for our cactus armor to deal damage to the creature. Luckily, the first Snidrion we encountered dropped an Amidia Spark. It was such a lucky drop. This accessory basically releases damaging sparks if the player gets damage. Now we must go to the corruption biome. Jump down to the hole to find a demon altar. In the altar, we must craft the CRABULON summoning item. While in there, I also destroyed 2 shadow orbs, but I did not get the loot I wanted. Back in the spawn, we craft a bed. And now we must make an arena in the glowing mushroom biome. While making an arena, one of the snail enemies drop a giant shell, an accessory that provides 10 defense but reduces our defense if we get hit for 5 seconds. We will get hit a lot, so it might not be too useful for us. We place a house down here and set our spawn point, just in case we die. You see, the arena we made is a bit special, as we pour lava contained underneath the platform, with a space for us to hide. You'll see why soon. And now we summon our first boss in this playthrough, CRABULON. CRABULON is one of the few bosses in Calamity that are not immune to on fire debuff. aka he is prone to lava. Without the lava, it will take us a while to defeat him. I was not successful in my first few tries. Clearly, we need to be able to burn CRABULON to be able to effectively and efficiently deal damage to him. So we must find a way for CRABULON to drop into the pit of lava. I tried destroying the platforms underneath CRABULON, which kinda worked, but it was not consistent. Luckily, on our 5th try, I realized CRABULON mimics the player's movement. So if he were to just drop on the safe pit we created, CRABULON would also mimic the dropping movement, effectively and safely dropping CRABULON into the pit of lava. We simply are a genius! We just invented a new strat. This strategy was so consistent and safe that we purely needed to just focus on dodging. To be respectful to the mushroom creature, I allowed our cactus armor and Amidia spark to deal the final blow to CRABULON. We just defeated our first boss in this playthrough. Defeating CRABULON is important, as he drops an accessory called the fungal clump. It summons a fungal clump that latches onto enemies and steals their life for us. We farm down some Frinxes for their fur in the snow biome. One of the Frinxes drop a snowball launcher. This placeable item acts like a turret, and we can use it to launch snowballs that damage enemies. We crafted a deer club summoning item. Then we make an arena in the snow biome, place our bed here in a house and move in the nurse NPC. Not to forget placing down the snowball launcher. And now we can proceed to summon and fight deer clubs, the second boss in this playthrough. Our fungal clump is dealing really solid damage. I mean, it is nothing to write home about, but I do feel safe, knowing that I don't have to harm myself anymore just to deal damage. Provided we take damage, we'll just deal more damage back to the enemy, due to how our Amidia Spark and Cactus Armor combo work. And the snowball launcher we placed earlier gives us a bit of bonus damage here and there. But this launcher is really not necessary. Our fungal clump is doing most of the work here. I do have to give credit to our sandstorm in the bottle for helping us to jump and maneuver around swiftly in this fight. Even then, we still have to be very patient. Our damage is not the best. It does take time to chip off the Dirkop's health with our considerably low amount of damage. But I am not too worried about dying in this fight, due to how Dirkops work. You see, interestingly enough, Dirklops is one of the few Terraria bosses that does not respawn if you die. So we can just respawn over and over again and jump directly back into the fight without any consequences. Knowing this strategy, our attempt to take down Dirklops was proven to be successful. Dirklops drops a very important accessory called the Bone Helm. It summons the shadow hands that are able to deal damage to enemies. With our fungal clump and bone helm, it is very safe to say that our pre-hard mode journey is going well so far. We make an arena on the surface desert biome, farm down the enemies in the underground desert for materials, and proceed to craft the summoning item for our next boss. It is none other than the Desert Scourge, the infamous giant desert worm. I was wondering if we were tanky enough to be able to just stand still and take all the beatings from Desert Scourge. So I let my curiosity take the best out of me. I let go of my cursor, and would you look at that? Turns out we were tanky enough to be able to just stand still and win the fight. The defense provided by our cactus armor isn't too bad after all. We needed to defeat Desert Scourge for the victory shard it drops. We used the shards to craft a full set of Victite armor. We crafted the summoner version, as the summoner version summons a sea snail minion to accompany us. The snail fires darts at enemies, which only means more offensive capabilities for us. Next we craft a suspicious looking eye at the demon altar, as on that night, we proceed to summon and fight the Eye of Tuluhu. During this fight, again, I was curious if I would be able to take all the beatings and hits from Eye of Tuluhu. At first, it doesn't seem possible. But as long as we don't take too many of his charge dashes from the second phase, tanking the entire fight is very much possible. Beating the eye gives us the Shield of Tuluhu, granting us the ability to dash. But our accessory slot is full, so we can't really use it for now. Our next stop is the evil bosses. For us, since it is a corruption world, it is the Eater of Worlds. Since we've already destroyed 2 orbs, we only had to destroy 1 more. At this point, I was feeling very confident. I did not think I needed an arena. I thought I could just face Tank Eater and win the fight with our current arsenal. Let's just say it was a bad idea. Currently, we are no longer strong or tanky enough to take blows from bosses. The moment we respawn, we were warmly greeted with a goblin invasion. These goblins thought I had no weapons. Little did they know, they be goblin these hands up their anus. It is time for round 2. It is time we fight the Eater of Worlds once more. Maybe it's a bad idea to fight this guy underground. We really need to extend our arena. So let's do that first. Now we are much more prepared to give this worm some beating. And we were right. Extending the arena was the answer to our problem. It is much easier to dodge the worm's attacks now. We still need to be careful though. We are no longer forklift certified to take too many blows from bosses, as it will severely impact our health bar. So yes, the fight did take a much longer duration than usual. The nice part about this fight is, unlike most bosses, the fight gradually gets easier over time. The more we eliminate the Eater's body parts, the fewer attacks the worm can unleash. So yeah, as long as we survive the first few minutes of the fight, taking down Eater of Worlds wasn't a hard task. From the worm, we obtained the worm scarf, which gives us damage reduction. We crafted demonite bars and converted them to crimson bars, thanks to quality of life mods. We crafted the crimson bars into crimson armor. This armor gives us plenty of health regeneration. One of the alchemist NPCs spawned, and she sells a bunch of potions. I bought plenty of potions from her like Thorn's potion, so the deathwit farm we made earlier was wasted. But hey, thank God for this NPC's existence. Makes our lives much more comfortable. While I was buying potions, slime started to rain down from the sky. Your average day in Australia. After spending some time killing the waves of slimes, King Slime Boss will spawn in. And as you might have already expected it, the fight was a breeze. To be fair, we are almost done with pre-hard mode, and King Slime is usually the first boss players fight in their playthrough, not the 5th one. So yeah, that only makes sense as to why we are shredding him. Yeah, this is a massacre. We did not get the slime saddle or slime hook, but we'll be fine. We don't really need them anyway. On that night, we went to the dungeon. But before we can enter it, we must fight Skeletron first. Skeletron was proven to be a bit more threatening than anticipated. Crimson armor health regeneration is extremely useful though. We are very much allowed to take hits here and there, but we just have to be extra careful to not get cornered and comboed by Skeletron. After some time, we slowly take one arm down after the other. And yes, the duration of the fight lasted very long. I summoned Skeletron at the start of the night, and right now we are like 3 hours before the night ends. We are basically on a timer, but without the arms, even though he became faster, Skeletron became less threatening, as he couldn't really corner us anymore. And there we go. Skeletron is now down. Amongst the loots, there is a bone glove, but it simply won't work, because we are not allowed to interact with any weapons. Upon entering the dungeon, we meet the bone mechanic NPC. We buy a few wires and mechanical stuff from her. We farm down the dungeon enemies for golden key, which was honestly a breeze, due to how tanky we are currently. Our main priority here is getting the cobalt shield. After that, our next objective is weirdly enough defeating the slime god. You might be thinking, why slime god? A boss you usually fight before a wall of flesh. Isn't it still too early to fight them? Well, slime god is one of the few calamity bosses that have a very questionable AI. In a nutshell, you can cheese the entire slime god battle just by using gravitation potion. Yup, they do not understand what to do, most likely because they are not used to the sudden vertical movements. I do have to warn you, you might be a little dizzy from all the up and down flipping action, a small price that we have to pay for the greater good. They won't despawn at nighttime either, so there is no timer to the fight. As long as we are patient enough, even while undergeared, we have a solid chance of winning. Although we couldn't afford to make too many mistakes. Us taking a hit from slime god will deplete our health bar by a lot. It is simply an unforgiving fight. Not because of the difficulty, but because of the sheer endurance test we must overcome in this battle. The fight lasts extremely long, so dying in this battle feels way more annoying and time consuming than it should be. I also ran out of gravitation potions here and there. My calculations were off the charts. Turns out we need like 5 or 6 potions for the entire fight. I bought some Inferno potions from the orange-haired NPC, and turns out that was the right decision, as the Inferno buff did help a lot in damaging the Slime God. Fortunately, Slime God isn't immune to on-fire debuff. They quite literally got lit on fire, but it comes with a downside. Now we have to be more careful, as we need to be close to Slime God to inflict the Inferno debuff onto them. Yo, this flipping up and down is really nauseating after a while. The sacrifices I must do for the sake of content. Notice how it is almost nighttime. That is how long it took us to fight Slime God. Yeah, my mental is not gonna be healthy after this playthrough. But hey, we were successful in defeating Slime God. It only costed me a migraine and possibly brain damage. Hell yeah! By defeating Slime God, we get access to purified gel material. By using the gels at a static refiner, we can craft a full set of static gel armor. And yes, it was the summoner version. This armor gives us extra jump and acts like a passive slime staff, as now we have our very own baby slime. I was wondering if we are ready or not to fight the wall of flesh. Well, only one way to find out. We must craft an instant elevator to get to the underworld biome. While dropping down, we also encountered the Bone Goblin Tinkerer. We bought rocket boots and Tinkerer workshop from him. Damn, this Minecraft texture pack turned the demons into ghosts. That is actually very creative. We placed down 2 layers of platforms to function as an arena here, farm down the demons for a white voodoo doll, and finally, we throw the voodoo doll into the lava to summon the wall of flesh. At the start, I was pretty confident that we got a chance at beating down the wall. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Little did I know nor expect, Wall of Flesh is fittingly the hardest challenge we've encountered so far in this playthrough. I'd say it's fitting because the wall is quite literally the final boss of pre-hard mode. like a barrier that blocks us from entering hard mode. From what I've analyzed, each time we got beat up by wall of flash, we lack damage and most importantly, mobility. So our next stop is the underground jungle. While we're here, we might as well fight Queen Bee. By accident, I destroyed one of the queen larvae without any preparation whatsoever, thanks to our Amidia Spark. Building an arena while getting bombarded with Queen Bee's poison stingers is truly one of the experiences of all time. I really do have a tendency to get myself in awkward scenarios all the time, but once the arena was made, and there were platforms for us to move around, Queen Bee fight became very easy. She is definitely one of the easier bosses we've encountered so far. I bet building the arena was not even needed to win the fight against the Mother Bee. The first Queen Bee did not drop the honeycomb accessory, neither do the second Queen Bee. On our journey to fight the third Queen Bee, we got an Anklet of the Wind. The third Queen Bee nor the fourth Queen Bee dropped the item that we were looking for. You see, honeycomb is a 33% drop chance item. Despite that, it took us until the fifth Queen Bee to be able to obtain this accessory. My luck truly works wonders. This honeycomb accessory allows us to release bees whenever we take damage. These bees deal damage to enemies and poison them. After some comparison, the damage of our bees is higher than Amidia Spark, so we replaced them with each other. I upgraded my boots to lightning boots, bought ice skates from this Bolt NPC, and combined them into frost spark boots. Then we reforged our accessories to get a warding modifier. I think we are now ready to fight the wall of flash once more. Taking care of the early stages of the fight was not a hard task. We were able to dodge quite well, while maintaining a safe distance between us and the Hungries. However, things started to escalate the moment wall of flash got low HP. As the lower the HP gets, the more aggressive this creature becomes, unleashing faster attacks and moving in a much faster manner. The overwhelming amount of purple laser beams always gets me every single time. The most annoying part of this fight is each fight lasted for more than 10 minutes. My patience was truly being tested here, and we need to be able to constantly deal good damage to the wall without getting cornered into the end of the world. So we do need to get hit to deal extra damage using the beast from our honeycomb. Finding a balance between getting hit and not dying is harder than you think, especially in a practical scenario. After many defeats, I figured it was time for us to play it safe. This time, I throw the doll near the end of the world on the left side, because I believe this is the attempt. No more screwing around anymore. I was locked in. Halfway through the battle, I was feeling confident, due to my past collective experiences with Wall of Flash in all my Terraria playthroughs. But the moment the wall gets their HP below 30% is where things get very heated. The purple lasers became super duper fast. I was simply overwhelmed, trying my best to dodge them all. I've never really had any problems with Wall of Flash in my usual vanilla runs, so this definitely felt new. We're so close to taking down the wall. I did not want to lose. Losing would leave a very bad taste in my mouth due to how close we were to taking down the wall at this very point. So I locked in. We must have hope and faith in ourselves. With only a sliver of HP left in our health bar, one more hit and we would die. Yet, we were successful in beating down the Wall of Flash. We have now entered hard mode, aka the quest for waifus. Yup, you heard that sentence correctly. But before getting the waifus, we must fly to space to get a transformer accessory, which is dropped by the UFO alien enemies that spawn in space during hard mode. We were very lucky to be able to obtain it on our first encounter. This accessory is basically a stronger version of Amidia Spark. The sparks deal more damage. Our next objective is to get the Sand Waifu Elemental, both versions of them. They spawn during the sandstorm in the desert biome. While farming the enemies in the desert, we also obtain a mechanical eye. The sand elemental enemy does not deal damage on contact, which is unironically a double-edged blade for us, as it is easier for us to survive them, but taking them down takes a significant amount of time. I guess we can use the surrounding enemy to enable our Amidia Spark. The first sand elemental dropped the rare waifu variant, which is rarer than the original, but right now we need the original variant more, as the rare variant does not deal damage to enemies. Instead, she heals the player. Again, sometimes I do question how my luck works. I counted and I believe it took us beating a total of 5 sand elementals just to obtain the original sand waifu in a bottle. But in the end, it is all worth it, because I'd do anything to get that sand doozy. Next, our objective is to get the cloud elemental waifu. We need to go up to the sky and wait for it to rain for a chance of cloud elemental spawning. It does get annoying up here, with all the pesky harpies and wyverns spawning. Surprisingly, the cloud elemental enemy is slightly more difficult to handle than the sand elementals, due to the new variations of attacks. But we were able to initiate the Battle of the Waifus, as our Sand Elemental was proven to be victorious in the battle against Cloud Elemental. By defeating her, we can obtain the Eye of the Storm, an accessory that summons a Cloud Elemental to fight for us. Only early hard mode, but already 3 waifus. Let's go! We built more houses for new NPCs to move in, and we mined on Palladium and Cobalt ores deep in the underground biome. Along the way, we also obtained the summoning item for Queen Slime. Returning back to base, we crafted plenty of Palladium bars, so that we could craft the Palladium armor. Yes, unfortunately, with how Calamity works, we don't have access to Orichalcum or Titanium yet, so Palladium armor would have to suffice for now. Now we jump back underground and try to find a Mimic. We were lucky enough for one of them to spawn right beside our instant elevator. This Mimic did not drop the loots we wanted, but fret not, one of the Fargo NPC sells a Mimic spawner once the player defeats a single Mimic. We use the spawner to farm down the Mimics, as right now, we need to obtain the Holy Necklace and Star Cloak. We combine both of them to craft the Star Veil, extending our iframes and giving us the ability to rain down stars from the sky every time we get hurt. And now I think we are ready to fight Queen Slime. Queen Slime is one of the more important bosses, as she drops volatile gelatin. I'll explain how this accessory works after we defeat her. I don't understand why people kept telling me that Queen Slime is a hard boss. I am not using any wings and I don't see any problem whatsoever. This fight feels just like a slightly harder King Slime, and I have no problem with that. It is nice and fits the flow. The best part? We don't have to be super close to Queen Slime at all. We have waifus now, and they are the ones taking care of Queen Slime. Hell yeah, gender equality. I feel like the sand tornadoes our sand waifu summons are our main primary source of damage, though Cloud Elemental charge dashes do feel more consistent. Queen Slime does grow wings on her second phase, but she did not feel threatening at all. Our damage is honestly quite solid. I don't see why not many people try this setup. This setup is actually quite powerful at early hard mode. Honestly, I was surprised too. I mean, it still did take a while, as you can clearly see. It is nighttime now despite us summoning Queen Slime during midday. But hey, this setup works. We can even still take damage too here and there, because of the tankiness provided by our Palladium armor. And there we go, we were able to successfully defeat Queen Slime, our first boss in hard mode. And yes, we got the thing we were looking for, volatile gelatin. This accessory periodically shoots gelatin that damages enemies, an even more solid source of DPS for us. On that night, let's use the mechanical eye we got earlier to summon the twins. Let's just say the twins were relentless at attacking, never giving us a moment to pause and gain momentum. We can't use wings either, as our accessory slots are full, yet we are much lower at moving compared to the twins. We all know where this is going. Yeah, it is not going anywhere. Well, in times of difficulty, let's insert more strange substances into our body by consuming more potions. What could possibly go wrong? I am going broke after buying all these potions. Just look at how many buffs we are on currently. This makes the streets of Chicago look like a child's play. Woo, I am all juiced up and confident now. All these potions are making me hyped up. The twins got nothing on us anymore. Okay, maybe it is not wise to be too rash. We still need to play it safe. How do we play safe, you might ask? By abusing the nurse NPC cheese. Hell yeah, nothing the nurse NPC can't fix. Hey, it is not cheating if it's in the game. The scariest thing about the twins is the Curse Inferno Flamethrower attack, because you have to consider we have no wings. If we get hit just once by it is very hard to avoid the rest of the instances. But hey, look at the bright side. We don't necessarily have to be too close to the twins to deal good damage. Our waifus are already dealing enough. For some reason, we took down the Retinizer first before Spasmatism, which usually mean bad news. I am very much afraid of that flamethrower. Yo, calm down, chill, ain't no way, dog. We are so close. Nah, I am not dying. Nah, I'd win. Come on, a bit more. Fuck. Wait, what? Yo, ain't no way, that's awesome. That was definitely a cool ending. One mech boss down, 2 more to go. Upon defeating one mechanical boss, Mithril and Orichalcum will start to generate underground. We mined down plenty of them. After crafting the hard mode anvil and pickaxe, I was curious about which armor is better, Mithril or Orichalcum. Straight up, Orichalcum has more defense. Both armors have a set bonus that damages enemies, Orichalcum with pink petal and Mithril with green spectre orbs. After some testing, Orichalcum 1 deals more damage, so we'll be going with the gay armor. We also destroyed a few demon altars for the Souls of Night, and crafted the rest of the mechanical boss's summoning item. I was confused on whether to fight Destroyer or Skeletron Prime first. You know what? Let's do Destroyer first. I think he is much easier. And our prediction was more than correct. The Destroyer was absurdly easy to deal with. We were shredding Destroyer like knife through butter. Not hot knife, just normal knife. We are not that strong. From my analysis, I think the reason we are dealing such good damage is due to all of our falling stars hitting Destroyer segments, and the Orichalcum armor pink petals piercing through all the segments as well. Terraria players try to not shred Destroyer under 1 minute challenge. Impossible difficulty. The Destroyer name does not fit him. 2 mechanical boss down, 1 more to go. Now we have access to titanium and adamantite ore. Yep, more mining montage. We are aiming for titanium, as the titanium armor set bonus generates a defensive barrier of shards that deals damage to enemies. And the last mechanical boss we must fight is Skeletron Prime. Skeletron Prime is not as easy as the Destroyer, but not as hard as the twins. Honestly, I should have fought Destroyer last, because it was much easier to get close to Destroyer rather than Skeletron Prime. But it is still very much possible to get close to Skeletron Prime and get our shards to hit him. I'm fine with this. The way I got close to Skeletron Prime is by using the momentum I get from hooking. I'm quite literally a master hooker, though this method is a bit risky. The reason why I was doing this so well is because I played Terraria PvP a lot in my own Terraria server. And the high defense provided by our titanium armor makes me feel braver and more confident. With this method, we were successful in taking down 4 of the arms one by one. By the way, we have been abusing the hell out of the Calamity best dash input. Yup, even without a dashing accessory, you can still dash. Though the dash is weak, it is still more than enough to make precise movements. I bought the dash key to mouse 4 for easy access, and it is a game changer. Try it for yourself. It reduces our chance of getting hit by bosses while getting too close to them, by pressing it near the impact zone. Believe it or not, I never really tested this entire Calamity pacifist mod thingy. And I'm just going with the flow now. It surprises me how we are defeating the mechanical bosses already. I see a bright future ahead of us in this playthrough, as we have successfully taken down Skeletron Prime. By defeating all the mechanical bosses, we get access to mechanical card, and most importantly, hallowed bars, giving us access to craft pickaxe axe. Before Plantera, we still have 1 more boss that we have to take down. Of course, after we handle this hard mode goblin invasion that spawned out of nowhere. Name me a more useless event than hard mode goblin invasion. Aside from Frost Legend, of course. I bet my left testicle you can't. We farm down Essence of Havoc from the Brimstone Crag biome, mine down a few hellstones, and use both of these materials to craft the summoning item for our next boss, which is none other than the Brimstone Elemental. For you vanilla players out there, let me explain a bit. The last 2 elemental waifus are bosses. The fire elemental is Brimstone Elemental, which we are currently fighting, and the last one would be the water elemental, which we'll fight later. In our possession, we have the air element, which is the cloud elemental, and the earth element, which is the sand elemental. Take a shot every time I said elemental. Yeah, don't do that. We are basically on our journey to become the avatar of waifus. Not my proudest achievement. Anyways, yeah, Brimstone Elemental. This boss was not hard to deal with. The bullet hell is like Supreme Calamitas, dual down by 10 levels. Though the damage can be unforgiving, it is not hard to dodge her attacks. But let's ask the real question here. Why do they gotta make Brimstone Elemental that thick though? Not even being disrespectful here, but damn. Okay, I am getting sidetracked again. But yeah, this fight did take a long while. It took us around 10 minutes. I gotta give credit to the endurance of this elemental. I really thought the fight would last us less than 5 minutes. Her attacks do get faster and more lethal the lower her HP gets. But it is not much of a problem for us, because it ain't that fast. We can still handle her quite well with our current mobility and gears. And there we go! Brimstone Elemental has been defeated. Defeating her gives us an accessory called the Rose Stone. It summons a Brimstone Elemental waifu to fight alongside us. 1 more Elemental waifu to go. We also upgraded our boots into the Angel Threads. I forgot to do that before fighting Brimstone. By the way, we have amazing Reforged luck. This was sarcasm. Before obtaining the last elemental, we must fight Plantera first. I wasn't too sure if I'd be powerful enough to face Plantera with our current gears, but I let my overconfidence get the best out of me. Yeah, this is taking forever. With our current damage, we are definitely not ready yet for the Plantusi. We need to upgrade our gears. The first step is by improving our armor. We mine down plenty of chlorophyte ores from the underground jungle biome. Look, I did not know this cone shifting was a Plantera bulb. We also farm down a few life fruits. I turned our Chlorophyte into a full set of Chlorophyte armor. Chlorophyte armor set bonus could rework in Calamity. It instead radiates an aura that damages enemies and heals the player. On that day, a solar eclipse event spawned out of nowhere. I couldn't be bothered, so I ended the event using the Abomination NPC. I think we are ready to face Plantera once more. After expanding the underground jungle arena, the fight feels more winnable. I feel like we have a solid chance of winning now. I never really had problems with Plantera in any of my playthroughs until today. My problem is not how difficult the fight is, but the duration of the battle. This Mother Nature is unexpectedly very tanky. But even then, Plantera is still super easy to counter. You just have to circle around the arena. And yes, I did move in the nurse NPC here, just to be safe. Spending another 10 minutes just because I die once can be a pain in the arse. Phase 2 of Plantera, where she starts to become freaky, by opening her mouth and unleashing more tentacles wasn't a problem either, as the Inferno Potion buff and most of our passive damage deals area of effect damage, not only single target. But I do feel like Calamity Chlorophyte armor deals less damage in vanilla. It does have more AoE capabilities, but from what I've seen in Gangnir's video, the single target damage capabilities of Calamity Chlorophyte armor is much weaker than vanilla, and less consistent too. I don't really blame them though, because nobody uses this armor for the Leaf Crystal. It's just a bonus for most people. Right at the very end, I did get a bit cocky and I did not think I needed to heal at the nurse NPC. So I was extremely close to dying, but I was given a second chance, as I died right after Plantera also died. Our contact damage defeated her. Damn, I guess I disintegrate any woman with just a single touch. I really need to go touch grass. Defeating Plantera is important, as she drops Spore Sac, an accessory that periodically releases damaging poison spores around the player. Our next objective is to go to the ocean biome in order to obtain the last waifu elemental piece. Before that, we must build a small arena here, with walls, as the spores from our Spore Sac will only generate on blocks and walls. Next, we must find and attack this triple question mark entity that spawns in the ocean. How, you might ask? Since we are not allowed to use any weapons, we place a spike down, and we use our transformer accessory to release damaging sparks near this entity. And by attacking her, we will engage in a boss fight against Anahita and Leviathan. We couldn't even safely get it past the Anahita phase, let alone the next Leviathan phase. I even tried to move in the nurse NPC, but she just kept dying from the Anahita's melody attacks. So yeah, the chances of us winning are very slim. In one of the instances, we got the Aquatic Heart, an item that transforms us into a mermaid siren. Not exactly the thing we are looking for. We want the water waifu, not us becoming the waifu. We are having issues with fighting Anahita because of how bad our current gear is, especially the mobility part. We desperately need a pair of wings to upgrade our movement capabilities. Let's head to the jungle temple first. I figured fighting Golem would be much easier. Traversing the jungle temple was a breeze, due to our high defense and passive accessories. It's like a morning stroll in the park. Oh hey, that's the Earth Elemental. Damn, brother is really on that Samsu-like workout program. And here we are in the main temple room. We place down a single line of platform here. And now we can initiate a fight against Golem. As lots of you might have already guessed, Golem fight was extremely easy. Are you guys even surprised? It is Golem. This boss is just pathetic. The fact that Golem could not even jump up to reach our platform arena already says a lot about this boss fight. We are safer than your average American household while standing on this platform. The fight did take a while, but I barely broke a sweat. It is just mind-boggling how easy vanilla Golem is. I could even say that this fight is much easier than Plantera. It is a good thing that we have the Spore Sac from defeating her, as the damage that comes from the Poison Spore is not bad. Despite Golem being easy, he is one of the more tankier bosses. The Spore Sac did help a lot in the damage department. Golem's second phase getting unleashed after we take down all of his body parts is underwhelming as well. He just gets extra lasers now, and a floating head. Even without wings, these are not even that hard to dodge. You guys get my point, this fight is easy, and we took down Golem with much ease. We got Pixel from the drop, and Shiny Stone, which would be useful for later. Now, we could be crafting the Beetle armor, but we have a better plan. For this plan, we must dive deep down the Sulphurous Sea to enter the Abyss biome. In here, we mine down plenty of scoria ores, essentially the Hellstone of Hardmode. We kept mining them until we ran out of breath. After mining the scoria ores, we went to the dungeon to farm some ectoplasms. Both of these procedures were required to do in order for us to craft a full set of hydrothermic armor, along with the wings. We crafted the summoner version, as it summons a mini volcano on top of us that deals really good damage. And I think we are now more than ready to fight Anahita and Leviathan. It's time for our rematch. Just starting the fight, I can already immediately see a huge improvement in both our damage and mobility. It feels so good to have wings now, though I did nerf our damage a bit, as we had to replace one of our waifus with hydrothermic wings. A small price to pay for much better mobility. What surprises me is how good our damage is after equipping the hydrothermic armor. Did I mention that our elemental waifus also scale with summoner damage? Yup, this single piece of information is gonna carry us during endgame later. Stuff calming down is an indicator that we safely got past through the first phase, as afterward, the ground beneath us will shake, and in the second phase we will encounter the real threat, the huge bazonker Leviathan. But the bigger the threat is, the easier it is for our mini volcano from hydrothermic armor to hit the target. Don't feel intimidated, as this creature is just making a fool of himself by simping to Anahita. Yo, the nurse is dead. Damn, she has seen too much. Our wings are also capable enough to make fast maneuvers, enough to outspeed Leviathan and go around him in a circle without touching him. If you kill either Anahita or Leviathan first, the other one will get enraged. But pipe down, it is really no big deal, because we took both of them down just brought us close with each other. I am feeling pumped up. Yeah, we got this. Us defeating Leviathan is another proof that size does not matter. We did not get the accessory we were looking for. However, we can buy the treasure back from Operator NPC. The accessory we're looking for is Pearl of Entrailment, an accessory that summons the water elemental to fight for us. And yes, she is the last piece for us to gather the complete elemental waifu set. Yup, we are 99% complete in our journey to becoming the avatar of waifus. The last 1% is combining them all into one accessory. You heard that right. Our next objective is to craft the Heart of the Elements. For that, we need the Ancient Manipulator crafting station. And to get it, we need to go to the dungeon to fight the Lunatic Cultist. I like how this Minecraft texture pack turns Lunatic Cultist into Herobrine. That is creative. I did not even think of that. My problem with Cultist is the clone ritual attack. In this attack, you need to find out which is the real Cultist or else face an ultimate attack. But due to how our accessories work, we are unable to deal damage to them, as the clones are untargetable, effectively forcing us to face the most powerful version of the clone attack every single time. You usually don't see them in your regular playthroughs. It is that easy to counter. So yeah, I was not used to it. It's either like a huge ice dragon or deadly projectiles. They are not lethal alone, but they can be a run-ender when combined with the other cultist attacks. Again, it is a battle of endurance, as I'm sure our damage is more than capable, and there is no timer either, the usual stuff. It did piss me off, as in one of my attempts after so much time had passed, and we are so close at defeating them, the ice dragon they summoned ended our run. Though I have to say, I did not regret crafting the hydrothermic wings. These wings really make dodging Herobrine's attacks much easier. You know the usual strategy. Moving in a circular motion can help, and staying far away from cultists, giving a long enough distance between you and them is heavily recommended. And there we go. We have successfully defeated the Lunatic Cultists. That was way too close though. My heart was beating like crazy. Upon defeating the cultists, the Celestial Pillars will spawn in. But first, it is time for our grand celebration. As now, with Ancient Manipulator, we're able to combine all of our elemental waifu accessories into one, the Heart of the Elements. We have officially become the avatar of the elemental waifus, ready to face the hardest of challenges. But before we progress even further, now that we have more accessory slots, let's step back a bit and improve the rest of our accessories. First, by crafting an Ankh Shield. Our goal is to upgrade it to the Asgard's Valor. For that, we need to defeat Cryogen in the snow biome, so that we could get access to cryogenic ores, which are the main component of Ornate Shield. Cryogen is an early hard mode boss, so we are chilling. It is not too hard to deal with. I guess you can say during the entire fight, Cryogen was on thin ice. After that, we mined down the cryogenic ores. Next, we need to defeat the Calamitas clone for the Ashes of Calamity material that they drop. I was used to Infernum Supreme Calamitas from my previous Gunner playthrough. That Calamitas clone felt very easy. You ain't Supreme Calamitas bro, pipe down, you are simply not her. You're just a cheap knockoff. By defeating both of them, we now own the materials needed to craft the most powerful shield in Pre-Moonlord, the Asgard's Valor. After that, we need to get to the Sunken Sea and find the giant clam mini-boss there. I know, it's a bit late for us to fight a literal PRE-HARDMODE mini-boss. But we need to defeat him for the seeking NPC that is trapped inside the clam. Because this guy sells truffle worms, and I'm too lazy to catch one. Our next objective is to defeat Duke Fishron. Luckily, we've already made an arena here earlier for Leviathan, so it is all already set in motion. With our Heart of the Elements, Duke Fishron was not a challenge, as the bubble Duke spews out were easily popped, with the tornadoes from our water elemental and our other sources of damage. It is ironic how the literal water elemental is doing the most damage to Dukfishron, which is the water pig and lives in the water. By the way, I did not know Dukfishron is not immune to the on fire debuff. That is interesting. And yes, there is a way to hide your Inferno Potion circle if you use the Louis AFK mod. Elements wise, this fight doesn't make any sense. Water should be weak to electricity or grass, not water itself, or even be affected by fire. But I guess it's Terraria, not Pokemon. I do wish someone could make a Pokemon mod one day in Terraria. That'd be awesome. Ah, the good old days of Pixelmon. I used to watch S-Handy Pixelmon videos every day when I was a kid. I wonder what he is doing now. Just a reminder, 2012 was 50 years ago. Damn, how time flies by. I know some of you guys are waiting for me to say this one line. Fine. Yes, we indeed were successful in beating this Haram Pig abomination. We had to beat a couple more Dukfishrons due to our incredible luck. It is also that we could obtain the Fishron wings, the fastest wings pre-Moonlord in both Vanilla and Calamity. Nope, we are not done yet. We still have to fight one more boss before Moonlord, the Empress of Light. By killing a prismatic lacewing on the surface hallowed biome and murdering it in cold blood, we will call down the wrath of the Empress of Light. Empress was not an easy task, as we opted to use hydrothermic armor, not beetle, which is much less tankier. So taking damage is not much of an option for us. We are basically sacrificing tankiness for more damage by not using beetle armor. Luckily, our mobility is fine, and Empress of Light isn't immune to the circling strategy either. I like how our Minecraft texture pack changed Empress into a creature that looks like the Ender Dragon. Though some attacks don't fit too well, especially the rainbow archetypes, I can't really complain, as the rest of it looks pretty awesome. The square hitbox on her attacks can be a bit wonky at times though. Maybe make the sprite slightly a tiny bit larger to fit the hitbox more. I also love how the Nebula Pillar spawned next to our hallowed biome. It makes the Ender Dragon Empress sprite feels more aesthetic. In the end, though it was a long process, we were able to defeat the Empress of Light. We have now obtained the Soaring Insignia accessory. We can interchangeably switch between Sporsec with it, depending if the situation needs more damage or mobility. I think we are now ready to face Moonlord now. In order to summon Moonlord, we must first take down all the Celestial Pillars. Dealing with them is pretty annoying, as our damage is not the best at taking care of multiple small waves of enemies. Correction, that are somewhat tanky. They took very long to take down. I almost fell asleep. Surprisingly enough, the Solar Pillar was the easiest. As it turns out, we just gotta trap ourselves inside a box and the enemies won't be able to touch us, while our passive damage and elementals take care of all the enemies outside our box. Alright, all Celestial Pillars are down. I used Magic Mirror immediately to return back to spawn. I have also prepared a box near our arena for the nurse NPC Cheese. I'm all fired up and ready to obliterate Moonlord now. Here we come! This is my setup by the way, everything is legit. And this will probably take a century to defeat. One thing we really need to take into consideration is Moonlord is the only boss in Terraria capable of regenerating its own HP. This fact alone is such a pain in the arse. Our damage is little, so most of the time, if we get just a tiny bit too far, Moonlord will just teleport to us and end up regenerating his health back, making this battle officially the hardest boss fight we've encountered so far in this playthrough just yet. Not because the attacks are hard to dodge, but due to how resilient and annoying the regeneration gimmick is. Who even thought of this idea? And each time Moonlord closes the eye on his palm or his face, he will just end up regenerating a lot of his health back, as our elemental waifus have nothing to target towards. But one thing I gotta say, Nurse NPC definitely hard carried this Moonlord fight. If Moonlord can regen his health back, so can I. It is only fair to do so. We slowly take down both of the eyes in the palm, then the one on top of his head, exposing Moonlord's core. Now that the core is open, all our passive accessories can work together to attack it consistently. Things were going good. In fact, too good. When things go too well, you know something's bad gonna happen. We were extremely close to defeating Moonlord, but let's just say I almost broke my monitor. Yup, we were extremely close to beating Moonlord, yet we died at the very end. If I'd get a penny every time we are very close to taking down Moonlord, I'd have 2 pennies, as it is interesting how it happened 2 times in a row. I want to slam my head onto a wall. Have I told you yet that each Moonlord fight lasts extremely long? Each fight lasting for more than 20 minutes of constant dodging and pain. My mental was about to go boom. I swapped my Starveil with Sporsec, because we are really lacking in the damage department. Also, let's place some blocks in front of the nurse house door, so that she won't keep running away from the house. Poor nurse NPC. Hey, at least we are paying her a fortune though. That wealth is gonna last her for 7 generations. If you guys have watched any of my streams on this channel, you'll know how I got this much money. Let's just say it is extremely easy to exploit money in Modded Terraria, even without cheat mods. And after abusing the nearest exploit countless times to remove the Moonlord Moonbite debuff, and of course to restore our HP back, we were proven to be victorious in the grand fight against Moonlord, the final boss of Vanilla Terraria. Our journey is not yet over. This is Calamity, and there is plenty of post-Moonlord content. I think post-Moonlord is very much possible, as our elemental waifus damage scale with summoner damage bonuses. And there are plenty of armor set bonuses, like the Stardust Guardian minion from Stardust Armor, and more. I'd love to make a video on part 2, but in order for that to happen, get this video to 30,000 likes, as this playthrough is extremely painful. But for now, thank you for watching, and see ya!